Hey guys, so my friend Tim Grimes made my favorite SP video that I've ever watched a couple days ago. I'm gonna link to it below. I laughed out loud a couple of times while I was just at the gym listening to it, and people were looking at me like I was crazy. But yeah, if something makes me laugh out loud, that is the sign of something good to me. I don't just laugh out loud at everything. Something else I've been laughing out loud at lately, also thanks to Tim, is the Mindy Project, the TV show, which was just not something that I ever would have watched if someone didn't tell me that it was good. I was laughing out loud in the first episode of that one, here and there. So anyway, I'm gonna link to that video, but just listening to some of Tim's videos while I was working out, I wanted to just make a quick video about, it's the Red Bull. Not only just the SP thing. In this community, the people desperate for the SP are the ones that we see everywhere. But this is just, there's something about heartbreak that just makes people go crazy. But there are plenty of other people that the SP thing isn't their big thing. That's never really, like, a specific person has never been the elusive thing that I think is going to provide me with all of my happiness. For some people that's money. For me, it was always the perfect body. You know, that's my thing that I was desperate to get, and that I thought was going to solve literally all of my problems. And the point of this video, the only point of this video, is to reinforce again. I say this like on every video probably somewhere, but this I think is my message that I want to get out with this channel. The things that you think you want, the thing that you're chasing, all those things, they are not going to give you what you think they're going to give you. They're not going to do that for you. It took me 20 years to figure this out. I think it takes a lot of people a lot longer than that. I hope that some people can get it a lot sooner than I did. So that's why I'm making this video, because hopefully someone, if one person can hear this and get it, really get it. You know, I heard this, of course, for many years, and just didn't believe it. I really thought that thing, you know, if I could just get the perfect body, then I will, all of my, you know, any issues I have with anything else will be resolved. Anything that's missing from my life, I'll be able to easily get. You know, I will then easily be able to find the right guy, and my bond with that guy will basically just be an all-encompassing thing until death. And that way I can avoid actually thinking about anything deeper than all of this and having to face up to all kinds of stuff, you know. Like I've said on this channel, I feel repetitive and every time I bring this stuff up, but you know, having to deal with the unknown of why we're here and what happens when we leave. I mean, sometimes it just blows my mind. There are billions of people on this planet, and a huge percentage of them, including myself most of the time, we just go about our lives like focused on all the crap going on in this world, and in the blink of an eye, we're not even gonna be here anymore. Like, none of this even matters for the most part. And yet, you know, I find myself spending, you know, some ridiculous amount of time in a day thinking about some, you know, issue, like some, like, for example, two of my family members were recently, feuding isn't the right word. There were issues between two of my family members recently. And I can't tell you how much time I spent, like, talking about that with Matt, thinking about it, feeling frustrated about how the two parties were acting towards it. Like, you know, we just go around, like, getting involved in these life dramas, and there's this huge, like, elephant in the room. all the time, which is, oh my God, we're gonna die. And what the hell are we here? You know, what are we here for? And what happens after that? This is like the issue, I think, that until you get good with that, which maybe that's why I'm more apt to just like, you know, think about drama, because I'm pretty okay with the fact that I don't know what any of this is for, what any of it means. That is like, facing up to that is something that once you do, everything else takes on a different hue. I don't know exactly how to frame it. If you haven't done that, there's a good chance that you're still chasing after the physical world stuff, thinking that it's going to provide you with a sense of security. And the insecurity that you're feeling is not actually coming from not having those things. It's from having not faced up to these massive questions. You know, it's like you're chasing after this, this, or this because you think it's going to give you a feeling of security, and that feeling of insecurity isn't coming from not having that thing. It's a feeling of insecurity in you. It's just you have insecurity, and you're mistakenly looking to the outside world to fix it. When really what you have to do is come up with a way to just fix it right here, right now, without anything outside helping you. And this is an ongoing thing throughout life, I think. You know, when I say that I've faced up to it, I mean, you know, I've accepted that is the true issue, which releases all these other things from their importance. So I'm not saying that I have resolved that. I certainly haven't. I think a true resolution of that probably is what people who, you know, I don't really know what the state of spiritual enlightenment is. I'm not sure anybody does. I don't think people who are enlightened necessarily know that they are. I certainly don't think they go on speaking tours, selling out stadiums and stuff. But I think that is one of the key things. Like, when you're truly fine with this, regardless of what it is, regardless of the state of your life, when you're really truly at peace with it, that I think that's pretty much the end all be all, I think. So at least accepting that, if you can accept that, then, you know, you start to look at everything else in your life differently. And if you haven't accepted that, or some form of that, you know, that's just, I'm just articulating, you know, what this insecure feeling is, you know, how I interpret that. It could be there could be some other interpretation when it goes through your mind and out of your mouth. That's the weird thing about all of this and talking about it. This is just one person's perspective on it. But yeah, it's this grand illusion that it's like this feeling that I'm attempting to describe in words, like something is missing or something needs to be done or gotten. That's what drives all of this stuff. And the SP stuff, I think, is really, it's the biggest illusion of all, because, you know, you get together with a person and it's like their presence in your life allows you to just create so many fantasies about what they're providing for you. You know, I mean, think about people that, like, marry a guy and they're together for 30 years, and then the guy dies and they find out that he has 2 other families. Those people were just living in a fantasy the whole time that they didn't know about that. And the feelings that they were creating were in them. They weren't coming from anything real. It was just like a blissful 30 years of thinking life was wonderful, based on this outer thing they thought they had. And then it all comes crumbling down when they find out the truth. That right there, like that example for me, that I'm struggling to articulate, is the proof that you create that for yourself. And it's not based on anything real in the outside. So chasing after these things, you know, maybe you get something and it provides you with like a feeling of security or something, or like everything's okay, or like you're okay, but it's not based on anything solid. It's based on an outside thing. And that's not a lasting way of having peace. And so it's just, you know, with the SP, with anything, you think you're going to get money, you think you're going to get a thing that's going to make you feel okay about yourself, then you're going to be good enough, and then you being good enough is going to make everything okay. In practical reality, what ends up happening is that how you feel is how you feel. And it doesn't change all that much based on what you have on the outside. And I think this is like, you know, because we're in this physical realm and things are the way they are, and you know, you have to participate in life. You have to, in order to stay alive, you know, we have this biological imperative to do that. It's like an ongoing thing throughout your entire life, you know, as you think you've reached one place, it's a light is shined on something that shows you that you're actually still relying on your 3D world to provide you with something, if that makes sense. Like, myself personally, I keep reaching, you know, places where I'm like, shown that there is still something that I am not, that I haven't worked out. Like, every time, it's funny, for me, it's been an appearance thing my whole life. That's been, you know, at the center of everything. And I've had all this understanding, and I've reached a new place with myself mentally regarding all the stuff I just talked about and everything. I get to a place of peace. And then something will happen where I realize I'm still heavily relying on being happy with how I look in order to feel peaceful. You know, like I had a lot of it's been weight. And so I've been at various weights, and I was, you know, very slender, and I was good with my weight. I wasn't good with my body, the way it looked. Met my fiance, and certain life events transpired where I kind of got okay with that. I'm like, all right, my body's not perfect, but who cares? Who really cares? I got to a new point with that, where I no longer was like, I need to be perfect. But then, you know, some life events transpired, and I gained some weight. And so, oh my God, like, it's been such a thing over the last year and a half to stop beating myself up about that, to come to a new realization that there's nothing wrong with me at this weight. It's not like some, you know, just life-changing imperative that I have to, like, you know, it's not like this thing where I just have to get back down to this, you know, like, I've just realized this is dumb. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to lose any of the weight I gained if I don't want to. It's, you know, it's been like a readjustment now, like a new challenge to get over that. So I'm like in this place where, okay, I've gotten over that. This is good. I can improve my body if I want. If I don't want to, I don't have to, you know, come to this new peaceful place in my mind with this. And then, you know, I look in the mirror and I go, oh my God, like, there is a line here that wasn't here a year ago. Oh my God, like, I'm getting old. Oh my God, like, my neck, look at it, it's crazy. Like, you know, I'm 43, and I think because I haven't gone in the sun for my entire life, basically, I think I'm getting some of this stuff about 5 or 10 years after most people do. And I think I just had sort of lapsed into this fantasy that it was never going to happen, and that I was just, you know, going to stay looking youthful for the rest of my life. And so, you know, I become obsessed with this every time I look in the mirror. You know, it's like a new thing will pop up, and it's going to keep happening because the body grows old and dies. You know, so it's like a lifelong thing. I don't know how that plays out for other people in other areas, but I think it's just, you know, over and over, you will be shown that you can't rely on the 3D world to get what you need. It's just, you just can't do it. I mean, even, you know, look at people become billionaires and then oh, they get some rare disease and there's just nothing they can do about it. You know, people build a life, they work and work and work and build a life, and then something happens to just knock it all down. You know, I saw, there's this thing that I observed about 10 years ago, and it's never left my mind. This video is getting very long. I intended for it to be like 2 minutes long, but my ex and I bought a house when we were still together, like about a decade ago, and we just went all out for the backyard. We spent like $40,000 putting up this beautiful, expensive fence, and then just creating an insane backyard with tons and tons of plants and expensive trees and stuff like that. And so at the end of the summer, when we were doing that, we did it all ourselves too. There was the only remnant of the previous owner's handiwork in the backyard was a stone walkway that was just like circular cement stone pavers. And so finally I was like, all right, well, let's get rid of those now. Let's pop those out. And as we started pulling these things up, there were like maybe 5, it revealed this gigantic ant colony. There were just shitloads of ants living under these rocks. And as you can imagine, for these ants, these pavers had probably been there for 40 years. I'm sure they were quite established. These pavers came up in a matter of 10 minutes. Their entire world was destroyed. I was watching this happen. I was thinking about this. I'm just like, wow, we are really fucking their lives up right now. And what I noticed was, that blew my mind, was that one of the pavers came up and it was like the nursery. There were all of the little white ant larvae, not larvae, whatever, the little white sacks that had the baby ants in it. And I swear to God, this blew my mind. Within like 10 seconds, they were all gone. All the ants that were like there babysitting, mobilized, they moved, they grabbed all the babies. There was probably like 100 babies. They grabbed them all, took off. I don't know where they went. I assume they somehow knew where to go, and they rebuilt, I'm sure, quickly. But just the amount of time it took for this entire thing to be cleared out, like by the time the stones were in the garbage and we were back, it was gone. There were no ants. And these babies were gone in literally like 10 seconds. I was just jaw dropped, standing there like, you know, I was just thinking, we just completely destroyed their world. And look at it, they're already gone. Like, they already mobilized and left. These insects that don't have, you know, the level of thought that humans have, that don't sit around thinking, you know, weren't looking around going, oh my God, what, you know, what happened? Is the paver coming back? Should I just stay here? You know, this is just the biggest injustice of my life. I shouldn't have had to done this. I spent 40 years building this colony and it's gone, you know, wah, 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 wah. Like, I was just thinking about this at the time, like, wow, they just mobilized and they're gone. They set up somewhere else. They're not thinking about it emotionally. And I just, you know, every time something blows up in my life, I remember those freaking ants, because it's just, I think this is just how it goes. Manifestation or no. I think this is just how it goes. You build, you get to a place where you're comfortable, and then it's knocked down in some way or another. It's just a process of rebuilding and rebuilding. And the more you can remove yourself emotionally from that, the easier life is, the easier it gets. The more peaceful you are, the closer you get, I think, to getting it, to getting off this merry-go-round roller coaster shit that we all are going through in life. And I really think that's the escape route, is figuring out that your peace cannot be based on anything outside of yourself. And life will show you all of the ways that you are relying on that forever. And your response to that, an option for responding to that being shown to you over and over again, is remembering that your peace cannot be based on the 3D.